Hey. That's, let's say, a core line of this beautiful film.
A repeated quote from Spiderman to the Spider-Verse, which is the film that today we're going to speak about because it is part of the top 250 films as rated on Letterboxd, and this is the second episode of
Our podcast,
our podcast.
250
Exactly.
Letterboxd top films challenge, I don't know.
And
this is the number 56 of this beautiful list.
So
that is probably going to change.
It's considerably higher than Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, which we talked about in the first episode, and it's also part of the top 100. It's rated 4.4. It's been seen by 4.8 million people on Letterboxd, and in general, I think it's been. I mean, I wouldn't say it's niche at all. It's extremely mainstream.
No, it's
one of the most marking films of the last 10 years.
If I'm not wrong, also, like, in the cinema, it went extremely well.
Yeah.
And it came out in 2018.
But this was Letty's first time seeing it. So
that was my first time seeing it. And I wouldn't have probably seen it very soon if it wouldn't have been for this list, to be honest.
Yeah.
Because that's how I am. Marvel, nah. The only films I've seen are the other Spider-Man with Tobey Maguire. So that also is an interesting difference between the two of us, even if you're not a fan either. But I'd say, this is the perspective of maybe someone who doesn't really know much about the Marvel universe.
And I'd seen this film around the time it first released in 2018, and I'd liked it at the time, but it didn't mark me particularly, or it didn't stay with me that much. Also bearing in mind that animation isn't necessarily my genre of film.
True, but it's mine.
But in general, I think I liked it at the time without loving it. I think I liked it more this time watching it again. And
even because it was raised from 3.5 to 4 stars. Yeah. Ooh la la.
No, because I think it's a very, very well-made film.
Extremely, I agree. I agree very much. Yeah, we can even delve into this. Yes, I liked it. Unexpectedly. Not completely unexpectedly, but sure, more than I expected.
No, it's a film that's really full of imagination.
Yeah.
Almost, as you know, if you've seen it, as probably you know if you haven't seen it, but it's the closest thing maybe to a comic book on film in that it doesn't obey the rules of. Firstly, it doesn't obey the rules of live action cinema, but it doesn't even obey the rules of animation in that it's really close to being a comic book. The backgrounds of many scenes just become almost surrealist colors. The screen is often broken up into a number of panels.
Yeah.
So you have
like the comic bubble
5 things going on at once. Yeah. A lot of the dialogue is written on screen in bubble form.
Yes. And not only, and I think also it makes fun of itself, which is one of the things I appreciate the most and reminds me also of Shrek in a certain way.
No, yeah.
Even if,
it's funny. It's it is a funny film. I laughed maybe
me too.
5 or 6 times.
And sometimes I thought, I know here I should laugh, but that's too much Hollywood. I don't know. In a way that I can't appreciate personally. Not to shit on Hollywood, actually, because, to be honest, some things work very much for me, not some types of jokes, but it's true, no, it was fun and entertaining, really. It was also, very much a classic Marvel film in some things. Some elements were so much there, even, the fight scenes.
I mean, it never stops. It's constant action from the beginning to the end of the film.
It's true.
But I think there's also a few elements that separate it from the norm of superhero films. I think firstly the soundtrack,
so cool.
which features a lot of artists I think the most famous song is by Post Malone and Sway Lee, which is Sunflower, which is one of the most streamed songs of all time.
That I didn't even know came from here.
It plays, yeah, exactly. It's so famous, it's kind of become almost more famous in the film, but it plays
Absolutely.
3 times in the film. And then you've got just a variety of other artists who have, I think, Juice WRLD, Lil Wayne, I think, on there, and many, many artists are featuring. And the music almost feels like one of the characters in the film. It's accompanying them. It's constantly an accompaniment. And it's not just used in moments of ecstasy. It's also used in some of the film's sadder moments or moments of supposed tragedy. And
It's true.
And even in those moments, the references some hip hop or similar style of music created by artists for the films rather than the soundtrack.
It's true. And also, I mean, I have to say that generally I'm not so good at detecting the soundtrack. I don't know, when I'm watching a film, of course I hear the soundtrack and everything, but I'm never like super, I don't know, like surprised by it, or I think, wow, that's good. But there was a moment in this film, I don't remember now which one, that really at some point I thought, fuck, this song is so good in this moment. I think maybe when he was trying
from the thing,
when he manages to become who he wants to become.
Yeah,
that was very good.
Without spoiling any specific moment.
But we can't spoil it because that's clear that it will happen.
Yeah.
In that sense. No, it's very good. And also, you know what? In the end, I also cried a bit.
Yeah.
Because in the end, it's nice. Also, it was very beautiful to see like the teamwork. It was actually teamwork. Also, I thought also to realize this film, it's very much a teamwork because all these, as you said, mentioned all the artists, like the singers, the animation, mamma mia, that was so good. And it took 5 years, no?
Yeah.
So 5 years of hard work. I can see that because it's so well made.
I think, I don't know how long the second one took. 5 years after the first one. I guess this one probably took a similar amount of time. Yeah. And almost every scene captures the attention. I think if you walked into this film at any point halfway through, you'd be interested and engaged because it's not even necessarily something that you have to start at the beginning. It is like a comic book in that way that you can almost pick it up as it goes along. There's many intertwining stories.
Yes. The script also
many characters.
Well made in that sense.
Almost you can't even follow who all the characters are, but
and some are very fucking cool, like Dr. Octopus and Gwen. I like them a lot. Also the uncle
Aaron.
No, and also Miles. I very much like Miles.
It is extremely original film, and I think also it's at a period where Marvel was like churning out a lot of very, very similar blockbusters following a specific formula in live action. This is something so much closer to the form of a comic book than a live action film can ever be, because it can break so many rules that the live action film can't break, and the medium of animation is able to go so much further to create so much more.
So it's like even like the comic book turning into life in a certain way.
Yeah.
Because we can really experience the movements that, I don't know, you really see like, okay, actually this was needed. It's like something added to the original story or to the comic itself. I don't even know, to be honest, if this one is made based on a comic.
Neither do I. I think one of the characters is a reference to the Tobey Maguire trilogy.
Yeah, for sure.
As in the Peter Parker character, who's a secondary character, but his story is his character represents an older version of the Spider-Man we see in the Tobey Maguire films. Although he's not played by Tobey Maguire, it's a continuation of that. But I don't know enough about the lore of Spider-Man, unfortunately, to be able to say what the origin of all these stories are. That being said, the film's got an amazing cast. It's got Shameik Moore playing Miles Morales, Hailee Steinfeld is Gwen Stacy, Jake Johnson is Peter Parker, and then you've got like a variety of incredible supporting actors and some really big names. Like I'm just reading Oscar Isaac is in this film. I didn't even know that. Zoe Kravitz in this film.
Yeah, Nicolas Cage.
Brian Tyree Henry. Yeah, it's
it's true. There is a big variety.
Yeah.
Makes sense, to be honest. There were so many characters, and even if like so many big names of rappers participating
Yeah,
into
yeah.
this project, I can see it also big actors too.
Yeah, no, but it's
Same.
and I mean, I think, for example, Nicolas Cage has got quite a small role in this film. Chris Pine has got quite a small role in this film, but um, they've still managed to take over the screen, or let's say that
Yeah,
their part isn't lost. You know, they maintain a presence, and
it's true. It's true.
each character is memorable in some way. Nothing is forgotten in the end. Apart from maybe Miles's mum, who has a bigger role in the second film.
But
Yeah,
that I don't know yet.
no, yeah,
It's true. But yes, and also we were thinking about before, just after we watched the film, which we watched today, of course, how like probably emotionally intense in a very beautiful way it is for people who are fan of this franchise in general, and also like the comics, and who like really can relate during the time, like with the nostalgia also feelings, and with the passion maybe growing while these people were growing up. Because I remember also, like, when I watched the first Spider-Man, I was a child. I liked it actually at the time very much. And when people are passionate of it, then they grow, and the story grows with them somehow. And so to see this, in effect, actually, really like a bit of a piece of art, to be honest.
yeah.
It must be so thrilling and so exciting because it's really, really well made.
Yeah,
and I think also they honored the story well enough, because, as we said, like, okay, there were a lot of references and somehow respect to the previous works, and this is, I think, very beautiful to do.
yeah, and yeah, absolutely. And there's so many comments of people who are saying that this film gave them goosebumps, and the number of people who
Tears.
really, really love this film, and who
So high.
saying it's the best Spider-Man film, the best superhero film. It's
Even if it's not as high rated as the second.
no,
That's
and
true.
that's interesting. Which the second I also initially liked without loving. I guess rewatching it, because it
You'll
also
see.
features on the top 250. Rewatching it, I probably will like it more. I don't know if I will like it more than the first, but a lot of people do.
So let's say this Spider-Man of 2018, according to Letterboxd, the 5 stars have been given by 45% of the people who watched it. Or rated it, maybe. Of none of the people who rated it. It's wow, it's incredible. 45% is a huge amount.
Yeah. And no, just looking through the
5 stars is a lot.
No, yeah.
Now I don't know how you rate on Letterboxd, but 5 stars is 5 stars. I mean, it takes some time to give them, and you really have to be amazed. And so many are, really, and so many rewatches even.
And so many people who are just for whom the animation has really touched them, and they've been just blown away by this. And I think in terms of animation, it's quite revolutionary. I think it's the first film, and even since then, there's been very few. I mean, we mentioned Intergalactic, which is the Kid Cudi directed film, which came out afterwards, and which obviously has a similar style, and obviously took a lot from this film. And I think many films that will come out in the next few years will take a lot from this film.
For sure. They really have.
Yeah, which for sure they already have. Mm-mm. And I mean, again, animation isn't my field, but I'm pretty sure this film at the time was absolutely groundbreaking.
Yeah, everybody was telling,
because it really does look incredible.
Yeah. It's true. No, it's really well made, to be honest. Easy to watch.
Yeah.
But also, yeah, you get very engaged. I'm still not a big fan of the fighting scenes, because I think for me
there are some cliches.
Very well made.
Some of the dialogue is very ham-fisted, and it's nothing. I mean, it's nothing. Like, the writing isn't mind-blowing or incredibly done, but it's effective enough. It's well made. There is
one thing that I didn't like, which is, I think it's a bit fatphobic sometimes, when there is all this stuff. I mean, okay, it's okay. Spider-Man has a bit of belly. I mean, he's still very elastic, flexible, and whatever, and he's able to do what he does. The belly is just aesthetic to belong to certain standards, and who cares at this point? Also, I don't know. He's 15 that film, 40. I don't know. He can have some belly. My God. And even I don't know. I have to reflect upon the evil character being very big and fat.
Yeah, but it almost super. I mean, he almost becomes non-human in a way.
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, that's interesting.
Which is interesting.
But also, even okay, again, the cliche of the ugly, according to the standards, enemy. Besides, actually, there was also Dr. Octopus. She was actually very cool. A bit the Trelawney of Harry Potter, in my personal opinion.
Yeah, it was a similar style, at least.
I like that. Nice
and
cross.
with the family dynamics, which mostly are touching. Even if again some of the dialogue is very cliched coming from the dad sometimes when he gives his kind of inspirational speech. Nevertheless, that scene kind of gets you. I mean, it kind of works in the moment.
It works because also you have to take it for what it is.
Yeah, exactly. It's in a different film it might not work, but in this film with this aesthetic, with its priorities, which aren't to be deep and philosophical about family dynamics, but are rather to tell the story about this superhero in a very stylized
which is
way.
that story. I mean, it doesn't change. That's
in that context, it would work. It might not work in another film, but it's absolutely.
I agree, and it's always nice in any case to see a parent doing a step back.
Yeah,
even if it's a bit moralistic or I don't know a bit.
But but also with the combination with the music and with the look of it, somehow those things almost justify or compensate for that type of dialogue, because it's that type of dialogue belongs in comic books and thus belongs in this film.
Absolutely.
And you don't want some deep exploration of anything really in this moment. It's more you just want to be swept along on the wave.
Yes, true.
With Spider-Man, with all these this bright cast of characters.
Yeah,
and it's a really enjoyable and easy film to watch as well. It's not a chore at all. It's a real pleasure to watch. It flies by. It's not too long.
No, it's almost 2 hours though.
Yeah.
But yeah, they pass quite quickly.
Yeah.
As you said at the beginning, it's basically action after action, so it makes sense. And also, like I was thinking again about the dialogue between the dad. I mean, the dad like telling Miles, "Oh, I'm sorry, but you can also forgive it for being very cliche and everything, and heard 300 times. Even because it's more like functional to what you know it's going to happen, which is Miles taking back his life and doing whatever he wants to do in the way he like believing in himself again. So it's like, okay, we know that this will be useful for the future.
Yeah.
Let's embrace it. It's okay.
I also think it's worth saying that this was, if not the first, because I think Black Panther came out just 6 months before, but the second superhero film ever second Marvel film, because Blade, of course, the Blade trilogy came out in the 90s, but with a black main character. And I think that's also very important that it's directed. I think one of the directors is black and most of the cast is non-white, at least, which I think is also an important part of it.
Absolutely,
and I think also most of the music used is by non-white artists. And
there are some superheroes women too. Okay, they're not central.
I think it's a film that can make some people who haven't been seen
I agree.
Typically
that was sure the intention,
in Marvel films
for sure.
Feel more seen.
Yeah, you have like a spectrum.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's the complexity of life, I guess. Always, in a very safe space, which is Hollywood, but it's okay. It's important to have that in the context, I think.
And absolutely.
And then there was the big.
Even so, I think that some people have talked about the dad being a policeman as a negative thing, and how the film can somehow, or even maybe also the second film, can somehow be perceived as kind of pro-police in some ways. And I think there's definitely some arguments for that, although I think in the film, firstly, I think the dad isn't depicted as perfect in any means, and in some moments is quite annoying. Yeah, also because he's policeman, I think. And also I think also at the beginning, for example, Miles was ashamed of being seen in the car of his dad. Yeah. So in a police car by his classmates and friends. So I think also that is an element of slight criticism towards. I don't think it's a film that's hugely engaged in social issues.
No.
But it's a film that can be representative and can represent people who really haven't been represented at all in superhero films, and specifically in taking one of the most popular stories that's been told many times, always with white actors, and transfixing it onto a black story, onto the story of a woman in the turning it into Spider-Woman in the case of Gwen Stacy, and having this cast of characters who are more, or even with the older Spider-Man, it's a person who isn't usually represented as a superhero, and all of the superheroes, in a way, in this film, aren't usually the people we perceive as superheroes.
No, it's true, it's true, it's true.
Which I think is a nice. I mean, it's nothing too groundbreaking, but for a huge Hollywood blockbuster,
exactly.
I mean, this isn't the type of film we'll always be talking about in this list. So we have to somehow add some context and take it for what it is. But
Absolutely.
For a huge Hollywood blockbuster, I think there is an effort to tell stories and include heroes who aren't typically included.
Exactly. And I think that's extremely important. And extremely important that it's done in such a light way, in a certain way. I mean, clearly there is a decision behind it, and it's a ponderated decision. I don't know if that makes sense. Weighted. Yeah. I don't know, like, okay, they thought about it. It's not like something properly, like a decision taken very, oh yes, we can do that. No, I think there is an intention behind, and that's great because, okay, it's like a film that so many people will watch, as you were saying, and it's not like made to be questioned. It's like not about philosophical
issues.
Issues or debates and stuff. No, it's just a film for entertainment and to enjoy. And it's there when you're not really like to be critical, that it's important that you have the representation and that you have the complexity given in a certain way. Now, probably this one is not perfect. Again, okay, I don't know even what is perfection, but it's doing a lot, because really people are passively, especially I'm thinking, people that are usually not represented, like young children, okay, they are passively saying, okay, I can do that. Okay, that is also like a discourse that is going on for some years now, but I really think it's very important in this sense.
Yeah, and I think not only that, but I think also for fans, for young fans of superhero films, it can give visibility to, without exaggerating, but it gives visibility to people who aren't necessarily visible. I think, for example, for people who went to see this when they were 10 years old or 9 years old and who fell in love with this film.
But they couldn't fit like in the... also at the end, like Miles was saying, everybody can be Spider-Man. Everybody can wear their mask. It's just we didn't know that we could see, like we could have different representations, but they are there. It's just maybe in another worlds, in another universes, or in another countries, maybe in our cases, I don't know. But it means like if you thought that you couldn't fit this, if you couldn't have never become a Spider-Man because, I don't know, you weren't white, you weren't Tamil, you weren't
able, fitting all like the criteria that exactly all superheroes follow, essentially. Usually,
absolutely. Then actually there was maybe one like you in another universe, so you could absolutely be a hero or be the hero of this story, be cool.
Yeah. And even the supporting characters, from the Aunt May character to Dr. Octopus, even Miles' uncle, all of whom are somehow superpowered. And again, there's always a message that whoever you are, your stories are worth telling or has value in this film. And
it's true.
Which is part of what makes the film really flow nicely, is the characters are all so alive and interesting. And
fragile, vulnerable, and also at the same time with some strength. It's true. And trying to be cool, but you're not always cool because also you're a boy. I mean, you're a teenager, preteen, maybe even.
Which the film doesn't shy away from. And I think, as you said, the comparison with Shrek is interesting, because I think you could argue that in the way that Shrek kind of tears up the rule book of what you can do in a fairy tale film. I mean, again, we're not the authorities on superhero films, but there's something to be said with Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, at least, if not tears up, at least rewrites the rule book on what superheroes look like and how they behave and who are these people, because they're here, they are vulnerable and they are absurd and funny, and it's not like this, perfection, as in like in Zack Snyder's Superman films or in most of the Marvel films, in which the superhero really is kind of almost a godlike figure. That's absolutely not the case here.
No, it's true.
Which is very nice, I think.
I agree. That's one of the aspects that I also can appreciate a lot. See, and as we were saying before, and all this that already works in itself is empowered by the beautiful, really beautiful mise en scène. Messa in scena. And that's really powerful. That's really, it makes you a bit dreamy also about being there. You feel like
it's like this beautiful canvas.
Yes.
And the canvas here is so beautiful that the story doesn't even really matter.
No, it's
it
true.
just becomes
it's
a bonus.
Great.
What?
Yes. And the editing. I remember there was the scene when he's falling down from the building, the tall building, and that was a beautiful scene. I think it was super well made. And at some point, he was like, we could see him, let's say, from above, even if we were maybe like, let's say, in front of him in a certain way. And then and the other ways, we were in other, like, I don't know, the second later, we were upside down. He was upside down, at least. And so, I don't know, it was like a combination of different techniques and different shooting points.
Yeah.
That was really effective, dynamic, great to see.
Yeah, it's a real goosebump.
It was like bringing you in that vortex in a certain way. And you were with him, and you were loving it also, because really the landscape was great, even if you were also scared because we're falling down, because we're with him. Even if then, I mean, as an adult, at least you know that he's going to manage to get back and everything.
Yeah.
But you feel it in that moment. And that's very effective and beautiful.
And I think the film also has a number of moments which many people again have commented on. But moments that are really well built up to, and they feel very rewarding or very sad. I mean, most of the big moments in the film feel like big moments. They're, they affect the audience in some way, either in a tragic way or in an inspirational way. That I think the film succeeds nearly every time at what it's setting out to do.
Yeah, and even very explicitly, but okay, I think this film is also minding its audience, because also children will watch it, so the explicit part is needed for them to be clear. Like at the beginning when Miles is making the graffiti with expectations and him in the middle.
They're great expectations.
Exactly. Okay, I mean, it's clear what it is about. It's like super.
It's very blunt.
It's not a taboo.
Symbolism.
Exactly. Very simple, effective. Okay, if you're looking for a more subtle movie, that's not the case. But for what it is, and for the people it's talking to, I think it's very well made too.
And I also think that doing this series of watching all these films will be interesting, because it's going to juxtapose films like Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse with films like An Elephant Sitting Still, or or even there's
even some also within animation, for example. But there is no Shrek.
This is maybe one of the true.
Not even the second, that is, I think, even maybe higher rated,
and rightly so. But
I don't agree. But I understand.
But I think it will be interesting to see that juxtaposition, because this film has been seen by so many people. It's extremely mainstream, but it is one of the highest rated films on here. And watching it, you can kind of understand why, at least more so for me than Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. I really think I wouldn't necessarily put it among my favorite films.
Yeah, I agree.
Or even I don't think it belongs to my favorite films, but I can really see that this film can touch people, and that it has both in the way it looks, and specifically in how original it is and how original visually it is, and also in the story it tells, and some new aspects it brings to some old superhero tropes. For all of those things, I think I do understand that this film is so highly rated in a way. I think if you're into the superhero genre, especially if you're into Spider-Man, or if it's you grew up watching Spider-Man films or reading Spider-Man comics, I think this film must really you probably really love this film.
And from different also perspectives. I mean, not only the US
No.
boy, but also, in fact, I'm interested in this sense also to see how they will develop the second and the third in 2027. Also in terms of maybe dedicating a bit more time also to the stories of the other spider people, or pig people. Even like, okay, it was very cool. I didn't expect it cool. I didn't see it coming. The anime girl, Penny. And I thought, okay, interesting to mix these two different animation styles, and to see where we can go, and to even have like an insight of the perspective of Japanese, I guess, or in general, let's say, who follows this style, their perspective on such a huge franchise and superhero story.
Yeah, it's interesting to have that kind of mashup of different animation styles and different drawing styles and color styles, because you even have the noir character, and when he appears on screen, it kind of becomes black and white, which is another concept that wouldn't really be. I mean, it would be feasible in live action, but I think it just works so much better in animation.
I agree.
Because so much more is possible in animation. You can kind of ideas that seem like crazy ideas to execute in live action become so simple and so obvious almost in animation, and they just make sense.
Yeah, and it's also cool also in this sense, in a certain way, that they can also play not only with, maybe the geography differences, but also geographical differences, but also with the time differences, because at the end, after the credits, we noticed that there was, probably most of you did, I don't know, in case there is a scene with the old Spider-Man, the 1967, if I'm not wrong, Spider-Man, and that was also the meme that is has been like going around for some time,
pointing at each other.
But okay, that's another game that they played with other images and imaginaries and styles and ideas. That was very interesting too. Let's see in the next one. I don't know.
And we will, I guess the next episode will be about the sequel. Which makes sense, because watching them, when you've seen one film, you want to see the sequel.
That's true.
Directly afterwards, just when it's fresh in your mind. And after that, hopefully, we will have a camera and we will be ready to film these episodes rather than record them.
So you can see our faces.
Exactly.
And our expressions.
Which will add a whole new dimension. In a similar way that Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse adds a new dimension to superhero films, that will add a new dimension to these podcasts.
Exactly that. It's true, exactly. So I guess we will see how it will be.
Yes. And
keep a face to these people.
Yesterday we finished by talking about the place of the film Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind among the ranking. And today I guess we should do the same thing. So as we said at the beginning, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse is 56th, the 56th rated film of all time on Letterboxd. And
again, this list is not including TV shows or documentaries
or short films.
Yeah.
But I think if I made a personal list, it might not be necessarily on mine, but I think I'm very happy with this film being among the top 250. I don't think necessarily as high as it is.
I agree on that. I wanted also to point it out.
But
towards the bottom will be okay.
But I think its inclusion isn't. I think it's actually all right, because I think it's touched probably so many people. I think many people who aren't into film at all can still really love this film, which I think is also something very beautiful.
To the cinema to watch it.
Yeah, it's a real entry pass, I think, for many people into cinema.
And its complexity also.
Yeah. And its originality.
Yeah, it's true, exactly, because there you really appreciate cinema as an art connected, but is a different art compared to comics in this case, or books in general. It's a different experience, so you can really connect in a different way and explore your imagination in different ways, and that's beautiful.
And yeah, as you said, I think that's completely right, because when you talk about art film, you often think about
I know,
art film
fancy still.
or more highbrow films, or more
See.
films that are, whether it's Godard or Lynch or any of the or Agnès Varda, and all the directors usually associate to art, cinema. But I think art can also be extremely visual, and I think so. When you look at something like Spider-Man, Spider-Verse absolutely qualifies as art film in the sense that it just looks incredible, and there's really this incredible feat of animation and of complex editing that must have taken so long to make, and you really can't help but think that it's just spectacular. It's really a spectacular film, and that for that reason, I think it absolutely it feels normal for it to be so. I mean, again, it's hard to rank films against each other anyway, but it feels normal that it's so highly rated because it does stand out in that way.
And I think also it gives value also in the eyes of adults, especially who are like spitting a bit on animation. Because it's saying, hey, I'm here and I'm cool because I am animated.
Yeah,
so
exactly,
give chance to animation. It's not just for children, and it's absolutely it's absolutely a form of art, as you were saying. Yes, so that's also something that I think is very cool.
Yeah,
because really, anyone can relate, and not only that, really, this film works because it is made like this, both in terms of plot and characters and style, techniques.
It wouldn't work in live action. No. Yeah, I agree.
No, I agree. And not even if it was let's say, a more subtle plot.
Yeah,
so a different,
if it was like some slow boiled superhero film like Logan or something of that mold, or even like the Nolan Batman films. That's clearly not the mood for this film. This film has to be light. It has to be fast-paced. It has to be full of jokes, full of colors, and it is all of those things and more. And for that, I think it really achieves what it sets out to achieve. Yeah,
I agree. Yeah, that's very true. Well, I'd say that we said mostly
I think
anything we wanted to say, I guess. I don't know what we wanted to say. We just wanted to start the discussion. But for sure something else will come out. Also because we will probably read something about it.
Yeah, and the second.
Exactly. So maybe in the second episode we will talk about more also about these aspects of the first film. Let's see.
Yes.
Well, thank you for listening.
Thank you for listening, and
see you soon.
Yeah, see you soon.
But for now, listen to you soon. No, hearing from us soon. See you soon.
Yeah.
Hopefully soon enough, but
you might
not
see us
super
soon, but you'll hear from us sooner.
Exactly. Yes. That's exactly what I wanted to say.
All right. Well,
bye-bye. Enjoy the day, night, evening,
morning. As usual, if you have any thoughts about Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse,
of course,
let us know, positive or negative.
Even
I don't think I've ever heard anyone have a very negative opinion of this film. If you do,
it's true.
In fact, there's no low. Honestly, on Letterboxd, and this is very rare, I don't think I saw a single low review.
Of people who gave 0.5 stars, they are 2,241 on Letterboxd, of course, which is 0%. I'm interested to see if someone maybe has written a review on that.
I didn't see a low review.
I don't know how to do it with the laptop.
Well, we can talk about we can talk about it tomorrow. But yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Also, I wanted to say, if you know some insights.
Yeah, some knowledge behind
cool,
the scenes.
Yeah, exactly. That's something I'm really looking forward to. That applies for everything, to be honest, because those things are very fun fact. So, okay.
So, yeah.
Thank you. Bye.